Good morning, class. We are starting a chapter called Motion. This is the first chapter in physics. I expect all of you please download NCERT book so that you can read the chapter after seeing the video to understand it properly. The word motion, what does it imply? It implies that changes its position from one point to another. So the first concept comes rest and motion. When we see that a body does not change its position with time, it is said to be at rest. Like a tree, a building, they do not change their positions with time. If you locate a building in a city and come back after years, you can see that building in that particular position until it is demolished. So the building is at rest. But when a body changes its position with time, it is said to be in motion. Like a runner. All the runners are starting at the starting line. As soon as the whistle goes, they start changing their positions with time, and finally they reach to the finishing line after certain time. So you can say they were all in motion. Similarly, when you start a car and drives it, the car changes its position with time. So the car is in motion. But as soon as you park it at one place, it comes to a rest position. So we can define motion as the change in position of a body with time. Now, to describe the position of the body exactly, we need a reference point, which we called as region. Now what does it mean? Suppose if I want to locate a park in a particular area, so I can say the park is situated in that particular area in Kolkata city maybe. It is 2 kilometers north of that metro station. I can name that metro station. So that means we specify the position of the park with respect to that particular metro station in that locality. So in this case, metro station is the reference point. If you get down to that metro station, then with respect to the metro station, you will go 2 kilometers north to locate the park. So we have chosen here metro station as the reference point. But it is completely according to our convenience. I could have chosen something else as reference point. But to locate the position of a body exactly, we need a reference point. Now we are coming to the different concept that is called uniform and non-uniform motion. I think all of you are having some concepts about uniform and non-uniform motion because you have already studied the concepts in class 6 and 7. Uniform motion, what do you mean by that? If a body travels equal distance in equal intervals of time, then it is in uniform motion. Non-uniform motion, if a body travels unequal distance in equal intervals of time, then it is in non-uniform motion. We will go further details for uniform and non-uniform motions, but before that we need to learn about certain basic things like physical quantities. Any measurable quantity is known as a physical quantity. Physical quantity can be divided into two parts: vector quantity and scalar quantity. Please see the spellings. Now, what do you mean by the vector quantity? Any physical quantity having magnitude as well as direction is called a vector quantity. Like displacement, velocity. I will come to it in further details. I'll just tell you a simple example. When an aircraft is directed to fly from one location to another, I don't know whether you have seen it in any movies, many movies you can see. Air Force One, I can quickly remember, that time you will see the aircraft, the pilot was directed to travel to with a particular speed, maybe 100 kilometer per hour in north-south direction. They are very specific. They even say 10-degree north-south. So what does it mean? Like the aircraft or the pilot will direct particularly to that direction, and it will travel with a magnitude of 100 kilometers per hour. So that is called a vector quantity, where you are specifying magnitude as well as particular direction. Scalar quantity, any physical quantity having only magnitude is called a scalar quantity. What does it mean? Like suppose if you ask me, ma'am, what's your age? I will say I am 55 years old. I don't have to say I am 55 north, 55 south, nothing. If you ask me, what's the time? I will say it's 10 a.m. I don't have to specify in a direction. Similarly, distance, speed, these are also scalar quantities because they need, when you want to specify these things, you need to say only the magnitude part. No direction is associated to these quantities. So now we are coming back to the chapter, distance and displacement. I have given you the examples in the physical quantities. Do you remember? Distance was, yes, it was a scalar quantity. That means it needs only the magnitude. And what about the displacement? Absolutely correct. It is a vector quantity. That means it is required a magnitude as well as direction. How do we define distance? Distance is the total path length covered by an object from the initial position to the final position. So it is a scalar quantity and it has only magnitude. Remember, displacement is the shortest distance between the initial and the final position. It's a vector quantity, it has magnitude as well as direction and denoted by AB. Can you see an arrow mark on the top? Yes. Whenever you are denoting a vector quantity, you will write the alphabet and top of it you will put the arrow. This, if you write only AB, that means it's the distance. If you write AB with that arrow, that means it is displacement. Now see, I have drawn two figures over here. You can see the first figure, it is having a curved motion. So if I want to calculate the distance, I have to calculate the total path length of the thread, you can say. If I put the thread along it, you have to calculate the total path length or total length of the thread to get the distance. And how do I get the displacement? I will just fix up one end of the thread at point A and I will fix up another end of the thread at point B and calculate the straight distance. That will give me my displacement. Now what is the unit for distance? SI unit of distance is meter. What is the unit for displacement? SI unit of displacement is also meter because both measures length. Now see the figure 2. In figure 2, I have drawn a rectangle ABCD and I have showed you a person is starting from the point A. Then it's going AB this path, that means which is equivalent to 3 meter. From there it is going to BC 5 meter. From there CD 3 meter and DA 5 meter. So if I ask you to calculate the distance travelled, you will add up 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5 and that gives us 16 meter. But if I ask you what is the displacement with respect to point A, see the starting point was at A, ending point was also at A. That means the displacement is 0 because there is no distance between the initial and the final position. So displacement is 0 whereas the distance travelled is 16 meter. So what are the differences among distance and displacement? I have chalked out the length of actual path covered by a moving object is called distance. The shortest distance between the initial and the final position of the moving object is called displacement. Distance doesn't have any direction. Displacement has a direction. Distance is a scalar quantity. Displacement is a vector quantity. Distance depends upon the path followed by the moving object. Displacement is independent of the path followed by the object. It only depends on the initial and final positions of the moving object. Distance is always positive, but displacement can be 0, positive or negative. Now, if I try to plot uniform motion or uniform speed in distance time graph, that means I will take horizontal axis as the time axis in seconds, I have taken over here, and the vertical axis, y axis as the distance in meter. So the given data, if I plot that in t1 time the body has gone to S, that means 10 meter it has travelled in 5 minutes, it has travelled 20 meter in 10 minutes, another 10 minutes, it has travelled 30 meter, that means more 10 meter in 15 minutes. That means you can see the time gap is 5 seconds. And the distance gap is 10 meter, 10 meter, 10 meter. That means 10 meter gaps. So if you plot the graph, you will get a straight line curve which is passing through the origin. So whenever you are plotting uniform motion, it will be a straight line passing through the origin for the distance time graph. Now here we are discussing the same thing with another given data. I have given you the data. Time in seconds is given 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 seconds. Distance 0, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. That means time gap is 2 seconds. But what is the distance gap? 4 meters. See, each gap is 4 meter. So if you plot it, you will get a straight line passing through the origin. So what is your prediction? Yes, it is a uniform motion. That means it is in a uniform speed. You will learn about it more in the second class. Now look at here another data I have given. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. 0, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49. So time gap every time it is, yes, it is 2 seconds. Can you see that? But what is the distance gap? See, first one is 1 meter, next one 3, after that 5. So if you plot it like that, you will see 1, 4, 5, then it is how much? 7. So if you plot it, you will not get a straight line. You will get a curved line as I have shown you. So whenever you want to show a non-uniform motion, it will be a curve passing through the origin, and if it's starting from rest, in the distance time graph. Now we need to practice some numerical on the concept we have learned so far. Example 1. A car travels along a circular track of radius 100 meter. Now I am asking you to calculate the distance travelled and the displacement of the car in half round and in 1 round. So now I have drawn the circle. Circle A, B, C is the circle. Let the car starts moving from A point and reaches B point through C, and that is half the round. So if I want to find out the distance, how do I do it? It is half the semicircle, and we know that the perimeter of a circle is found out by 2 pi r. So half will be half into 2 pi r, means it will be pi r. Now if you want to calculate the exact value of the distance, you will substitute the value of pi. I have taken it as 22 by 7 and into 100. I could have taken it as 3.14 also. So 3.14 into 100 will give me 314 meter. So it is your choice whether you will take the value of pi as fraction or in decimal. So the distance travelled in half round is equal to 314 meter. But how do I calculate the displacement? The car was standing at A, arrived at B. So what is the shortest distance? It is the diameter of the circle. That is the shortest distance. So what is the diameter? Diameter is 2r, twice the radius. Do we know the value of radius? Yes, we know. It's given in the numerical. Circular track of radius 100 meter. So how do I get AB? 2 into 100, that is 200 meter. Have you all understood? Now let's go for 1 full round. 1 full round means it was standing at A, came back at A. So the total distance covered is the full circumference of the circle. What's the formula? 2 pi r. Now we can say 2 into 22 by 7 into 100. I could have taken pi value as 3.14. And if you calculate, you will get the answer as 268 meter. Now what is the displacement? The body was at A, the car was at A, came back at A. So what is the displacement? Displacement is 0. Could you understand? So see, the distance travelled is 628 meter, whereas the displacement is 0. We are coming to the next sum. Let's read it very patiently and attentively. An object travels a distance of 4 meter due to east and then travels 3 meter due to north. What is the total distance travelled by the object? What is the total displacement? Now to find out the distance, it is very easy. Just add up 4 meter plus 3 meter. So 7 meter is the distance covered. But to get the displacement, see the solution. First I have drawn north, south, east, west directions. Then they said the distance is first is 4 meter due to east. So I have taken 4 meter. I cannot draw 4 meter in a page. So what did I do? I have taken a scale. I may take 1 centimeter as 1 meter. So 4 centimeters if I draw equivalent to 4 meter. I can do that. Then after that 3 meter due north. Again same scale. So that means 3 centimeters will be representing 3 meter. OA is 4 meter, that is towards east, and from A point it has gone to north. So AB is equal to 3 meter towards north. And if I want to find out the displacement I know is the shortest distance between the origin and the final position. So what is the starting point? O. What is the final position? B. So that means OB is the displacement. How do I calculate it? Look at the figure. OAB is forming a right angle triangle. So I can apply Pythagoras theorem. What is Pythagoras theorem? Hypotenuse square is equal to height square plus base square. What is the hypotenuse over here? OB is the hypotenuse. What is the base? OA. What is the height? AB. So I can write OB square is equal to OA square plus AB square. Right? So if I want to calculate OB, I have to find out the square root of OA square plus AB square. So I will now substitute the values of OA and AB, which are 4 square plus 3 square. So I am getting 16 plus 9, that is 25. So the square root of 25 will give me 5, and the unit is meter. So OB is the displacement which is equivalent to 5 meter. And whenever I will show displacement, I should have written here OB on the top, the arrow which is missing over here. Please put it. OB on the top arrow is equal to 5 meter. Not only that, within bracket you have to mention the direction, and it is the northeast direction. It is northeast direction that you have to mention for displacement. Next sum, a person travels on a circular track of radius 14 meter. Calculate the distance travelled and the displacement of the person in 1/4 round of journey. It is almost same as the sum we discussed already. Now let us assume the person starts from A and reaches B in 1/4 of round. So the distance travelled by the person will be 1/4 of the circumference, or 1/4 of the perimeter of the circular track. So 1/4 into 2 pi r, and that equivalent to pi r by 2. Now I will substitute the value. Pi is 22 by 7, r is given 14. As I have told you that I could have taken pi value as 3.14. No problem, I can take it. So it comes to 22 by 7 into 14 and by 2. So if you calculate, you will get the value as 22 meter. So the distance traveled is 22 meter. Now, how do I calculate displacement? Yes, I will apply Pythagoras theorem. Just now we have learned about Pythagoras theorem. So I am applying it here also. Look at here. AB is the displacement. So that is equivalent to root over OA square plus OB square. Substitute the value. OA is the radius. The value is given 14. OB is also the radius. So value is given 14. So I am getting 14 square plus 14 square. So if I find out the square root, I get AB is equal to 14 root 2 meter. So how do I express displacement? It is AB. That means A to B is equal to 14 root 2 meter. Now, we are discussing again about uniform and non-uniform motions. What type of numericals you can expect from that? I have given you a table. You can see the first column is showing you the time, second one showing distance traveled by a car A, third column is showing distance traveled by car B. Both the car started at 9 a.m. Then at 9:15 the first car traveled 5 kilometers, second also traveled 5 kilometers. Third slot, that means at 9:30 a.m. 10 kilometer, 10 kilometer, 0 to 10 kilometer it has reached, that means 5 more kilometers both. At 9:45 car A traveled 5 more kilometers, that means total 15 kilometer. But the car B traveled 6 more kilometers and traveled total 16 kilometer. At 10 a.m. car A traveled more 5 kilometers, so reached 20 kilometer, and the distance traveled by B is only 4 kilometers and covered 20 kilometers. At 10:15 a.m. car A traveled again 5 more kilometers and reached 25 kilometers. Car B traveled 4 kilometers more, so reached 24. At 10:30 car A traveled again 5 more kilometers, reached 30 kilometers. Car B traveled 6 more kilometers and reached 30 kilometers. 10:45 car A traveled again 5 more kilometers and reached 35 kilometers. Car B traveled 6 more kilometers and reached 36 kilometers. At 11 a.m. car A traveled again 5 more kilometers and reached 40 kilometers. Car B traveled 4 more kilometers and reached 40 kilometers. So what can you infer? We can conclude that car A is covering every time interval, which is 15 minutes, 5 kilometers. Every 15 minutes it is adding 5 kilometers. So it has traveled uniformly. Its motion is uniform. Whereas car B initially started covering 5 kilometers, then 6, sometimes 4. So though the time interval is same, 15 minutes, but the distance covered by car B is not equal. So car B is in non-uniform motion. And I hope if we ask you to plot it in graph, now you can do it. Can you predict what type of graph you will be getting if you want to plot distance time graph for car A? Yes, it will be a straight line passing through origin. And what type of graph you will be getting for motion for car B? It will be a curve. It will be a curve, distance time curve path. Okay? So now you will try to solve the assignments, complete the assignments, and if there is any doubt, please clear with me in the next class. Thank you so much. This is the mind map. Whatever we have learned, let's brief it again in a flowchart form. We started the concept of motion. Motion means when the bodies are changing their position with respect to another body, which is considered as the reference body. Motions are of two types. Uniform motion, when the body covers equal distance in equal interval of time, that is called uniform motion. Non-uniform motion, when a body covers unequal distances in equal interval of time. Then we have learned about distance, the length of path which is covered by a moving body, that is called distance. It's a scalar quantity. Unit SI unit is meter. It has only magnitude, no direction. Another concept is displacement, the shortest distance between the initial and the final positions of the body with respect to a direction. It's a vector quantity. It has magnitude as well as direction, and the SI unit is meter. For recapitulation of the whole lesson or chapter, please follow these two YouTube link. Watch the videos and please reinforce your concepts which are taught in the class. Thank you.